What's going on, everybody? It's Richard Coburg here, the Blue Collar Nerd. Okay, here's the situation.
My parents went away on a week's vacation and they left the...
Nope, don't have time for that. So I've been doing this thing where before a ServiceTitan release comes out, I will make one of these videos of me going out and making a thumbnail for the video based on the name of the release, the internal name. But I am behind on this one. It is currently Tuesday and the final batch of the release drops Wednesday night at midnight or Thursday morning if you want to get technical. So the release notes video is shot and made and uploaded and everything, but I don't have a thumbnail yet. Now the reason I'm behind is because I caught a case of the stuff. That's right, that stuff. And I didn't want to go get my cooties everywhere. And I'll tell you more about that later, but for now, I am all better, no longer contagious according to the CDC. And this release is called Nail. So I've got to figure something out real quick. So like I said, this release is called Nail. So two types of nail come to mind. We got fingernails, and we got like a hammer and nail. Now normally this is where I'd take those two pieces of information and I'd ponder and I'd let the creative juices flow and I'd come up with some sort of idea for a video. But given this timeline, we don't have time for any of that. So I just went to Home Depot, I bought a box of construction nails and I'm just gonna tape them to my fingernails. Video, done. And while I tape these nails to my nails, I'm gonna tell you about my experience with COVID-19. So I was exposed to COVID a little over 2 weeks ago now. I flew too close to the sun. I got together with a few friends and we rented out an Airbnb and we stayed there together. Which I realize is like basically asking for it, but it was for my birthday, which was actually back in March, but during March was when everything was really blowing up and we decided, you know, it's not really a good idea to do that right now. So I like made this Facebook event and I was like, we'll do something eventually when everything calms down. But things didn't calm down, not really. So we risked it. And like the day after we got back, somebody said that they weren't feeling very good, so they were going to get a COVID test. A couple days later, he said he came back positive. Somebody else chimed in that they also got tested and came back positive. And you know who else tested positive? This guy. So my case, I would say, was very minor. The first couple of days, I mean, I could definitely tell I was sick, like I didn't feel good. I had just like vague aches, I had that brain fog, I just had that feeling when you're sick, like you just know you're sick. I had a very slight fever, under 100, and I had like one episode of chills. Now later, maybe like 4 days in, that's when I lost my taste and my smell, and that was by far for me the worst part of the whole thing. The taste loss was absolutely bizarre. It was like nothing I've experienced before. Just like when you get sick, like sometimes you can't taste as well, but normally that comes along with like a stuffy nose. But my nose was not stuffy at all. I could breathe just fine, but I had absolutely zero taste, none. It was weird. And that's the one thing that I would say still isn't quite 100%. My taste and smell are definitely back. I can taste and I can smell now, but I'd say that part is like 85%. It's still kind of fading in. Other than that, I mean, for a couple of days I had a bit of a cough, but as far as the respiratory symptoms go, I'd say I got off very easy, not much at all. And I mean, just in general, I'd say I got off very easy. If I didn't know any better, I would have just told you I had a slight cold. It's a very weird illness. It affects different people very differently. Most everybody in my pool of exposure had a fairly mild case. Some people had worse symptoms than others, but for the most part, very mild. But I've heard from people who got this and it absolutely knocked them on their butt. And obviously for some people, it's life-threatening, ventilators and all that stuff. But anyways, that was my experience with it. It's been over 2 weeks now and I feel completely back to normal, besides, like I said, my taste and smell still being maybe at about 80% instead of 100. Here's what my hand looks like now. I wish I could say this was the dumbest thing I've ever done, but this is not even the dumbest thing I've done today. Let me just get my thumbnail. And that's the video, making deadlines. If you have any questions for me about my experience with COVID, just feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.